Okay, let's see where the comet is tonight. Okay, TCRB, we're going to take a look at that soon. Vales, P2010 Vales. It's 32 degrees altitude, so we should be able to go look for it. The sky is crystal clear, and I'm hoping that later tonight we will see some meteors from the leftovers from Lyrid. We have a comet. Let's see if it's gonna... Hello, RW. Thank you for joining us again. How is Alberta tonight? Still bright for you, it's not night yet. Earlier this morning, I did not have any success in seeing any of the meteors. I don't like this focus. That's not focused. These are not the pinpoint stars I'm used to. Granted, it's not dark enough yet, but we'll see if we have any sign of the comet. Yeah, these are not... Okay, that's much better. Show me comet. We'll give it 10-15 minutes to see if we can see the comet or not. In the meantime, according to the Sky Live, The comet right now is at 32 degrees altitude and 113.6. I don't know if we're in the right vicinity. Let's see. It shows it as 32.5 roughly. Whereas the Sky Live says we're at exactly 32. So that's still within the frame. Barely. And 113.6. No, we are way out. Okay, which one do we believe? .9 and 33. So this is suggesting that we should be looking right around here for it. Hello, Pico. Well, I just found out that Seestar does not have the latest coordinates for the comet. So I'm trying manually. Again, it got it wrong. I sent it to one. We'll see if this will do it. Oopsie. Come on. It says NGC 5118. I wonder where that is. Yeah. It says that Vales is not too far from that galaxy. So right now, according to Stellarium, Vales is very, very close to NGC 5118. And by close, we are talking about $10 by 5 minutes. So I'm going to go directly to NGC 5118 and see if we can get it. Stand by. There we go. Show me. Yep, that's what it's showing, that it's right next to it. Let's go. I spent the day playing with the big telescope, the 16-inch, so object is centered. Let's do it. I'm trying to no avail to find evidence that we are in the right neighborhood by looking at the stars on Stellarium and looking at the stars on Seestar, and I cannot see a match, not even close. I spent most of my life, well, all of my youth and part of my life hanging around Brits, and I heard the standby a lot. So we live by the standby. I have my coffee. Pico, how long did you stay on the Comet with your 10 seconds? Oh, you said half-hour session. Okay. I was looking for numbers, not letters. Okay. We'll give it half an hour and see what we get. Right next to NGC 5118, there is another galaxy, PGC 46795. 5118 has a magnitude of 14. And the galaxy is only 13. Sorry, the comet is only 13. The more important question is that Vega in the east. Not yet. No, that's Arcturus. Vega is to the northeast. Exactly northeast. So Vega should be rising around here. My primary interest in Vega. There we go. There is a meteor. There is a meteor, if there ever was one. Hello, Fish and Ball. Hi, Bill. I think we just saw a meteor. It certainly is not a plane or a satellite. Satellite wouldn't have gone that fast through it. Bill, Mr. Mead made its appearance in Oswego today at Rice Creek. I set it up, turned it on, tested it. It's working just fine. And I had my first set of students working on it. We are making some good progress. I'm going to have a group of 3 interns for the summer, full-time, working with me. And we're going to do some fun stuff with it. I'm going to try to see if the ASI662 will work with the 90mm aperture. If it does, then they will be doing some projects, including deleting satellite trails and meteor trails from pictures like this one. I was very surprised by the noise that it makes, by the sound. Not as noisy as the 16-inch, but certainly noisier than the DWARF or the Seestar. So right now, P2010 H2 Vales is very, very close to NGC 5118. So if you want to go for it, you just need to go to NGC 5118, which is what we are doing. They're only minutes apart, arc minutes. We have confirmation that this is NGC 5118. Let's see if the marking will mark it. Yes, there is another meteor. They are much too bright to be satellites. AutoStar worked perfectly. I aligned it, and to my surprise, we were inside the building when I first turned it on. The GPS on it immediately found location, time, and date, literally within seconds. Okay, we have a comet right here. No doubt in my mind, this is the comet. We're going to stay on it until it renders properly. No, NGC 5118 is not in the southern sky. Bill, the only thing I do not like about this class of telescopes from Meade is the power connector, the 9-volt. But other than that, I mean, I have it connected to the power adapter that you sent us, and I do not plan to disconnect it. I just want to make sure that I put a rubber grommet of some sort on the cable so that if somebody pulls or trips or whatever on the cord, they are not yanking the 9-volt connector from the mount. Earlier this morning at 3 a.m., I woke up, the sky was clear, turned on Skycam, and could not see any meteors. Tried tinkering with exposure and gain to no avail. For many of those telescopes, Bill, the weak point, unfortunately, is the power adapter. Stellina, the $4,000 telescope, had more trouble with the USB power connector than with anything else in the telescope. More people returned their Stellinas because the USB-C broke. When they plugged in, it just pushed it inside the telescope and it disappeared and they could not connect to it. And that's when I decided to go with the magnetic connectors for the power to avoid having to plug and unplug. They fixed it eventually with the Vespera and they went magnetic. Yeah, the one nice thing about the DWARF connector is that it does not move. Unlike Seestar that's trying to strangle itself with the cable all the time. Whoa. What just passed by? According to Stellarium, Starlink 6113 just went through. So could these be Starlinks? Bill, you missed a very, very nice demonstration 2 nights ago. When would that have been? Sunday night. I finally finished my North Perch. Now I can put the dwarf. Only dwarf 2 so far is certified for that operation, and I have a full clear view of the sky to the north, all the way from the west to the east. So we enjoyed ourselves imaging M35, M36, M37 and M38, and kept hopping on Polaris. So now I have the eastern perch, the western perch, both on windows, the north perch on another window, running out of windows. The only thing I'm missing now is the south. Don't know if we'll be able to do one of these without having to climb the roof. Now right above Comet Vales, by above we're talking about 10 degrees or so, there is a whole slew of galaxies. We have M59, M58, 59, 60, 87, 89, 90, 91, 88, 84, all in the same vicinity. That is Mercurian's chain, basically. Hello, Harvey. What do you mean, my sky being in the Earth's shadow? The sky cannot be in its own shadow, or I should say the Earth cannot be in its own shadow. Are we having an eclipse that I don't know about? Lyra is just like close next to Vega, and Vega is due northeast, so Lyra is going to be somewhere around here. According to Stellarium, the only thing between NGC 5118 and the star above it is a pair of tiny stars unnamed with magnitude 17. So, whoa. Ah, that's what you meant, Harvey. Earth shadow. Okay. All right, Vales right now is magnitude 13, and right next to it, the only thing there is a binary star magnitude 17. Nothing else here. So we are either seeing the magnitude 17, which I doubt it, or we are seeing the comet with a tail. Can anybody confirm? Anybody with a large monitor? Let me see if I can put an arrow on it. There is something on the sky cam right now, very close to the radiant of the Lyrid, so don't know what it is. It is coming from the radiant and moving to the west. It's passing through Ursa Major. So don't know if that was a meteor or a Starlink. Thanks, Bill. Does it look like there is a trail behind it? I mean, I see a trail here. Tiny as it might be. Yeah, that's what it's looking. Let's see if Stellarium or the Sky Live concurs. I recommend long Pico. Hello, Isobig. How is Northeast PA this evening? Seestar is not frozen. Thank you for mentioning it. It is screen copy that is frozen. For some unknown reason, sometimes it stops mirroring the tablet onto the desktop. Hello, Zina. Long time no see. We think we have a comet that we're looking at right above the tiny little red inverted V. Pico, those 2 likes were probably you and me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a discrepancy here. We have 16 viewers and only 5 likes. Please give us some love here or some like. Hello, Rochester. Estimated to go supernova in 23 years. I will put it on our calendar, so we'll carry it live. Zena, you remind me of the joke that everybody brings joy to this place, some by coming, others by leaving. So everybody likes this place, some by coming, others by leaving. So the big question now is, what do you want to see next? We did Sombrero earlier this week. Black eye is a possibility. We need to check on TCRB before we go too far. TCRB right now is in a good place. So we're going to take a look at it. That's another thing I noticed about the discrepancy between computer and tablet. It only happens when I'm zoomed in for some reason, and it only happens on Seestar but not DWARF. M83, let's see what it is. It'll be doable soon. Right now it is at 6 degrees up. So in a few minutes it should be good. The Southern Pinwheel Galaxy. Harvey, Mr. Esquire, what part of the world are you in? Texas. Thank you. So we have folks from Scotland all the way to Arizona, with Minnesota, Texas, Pennsylvania, and New York in between. All right, we're going to hop over to TCRB. And then go to M83. Now, if I recall correctly, Seestar knows where TCRB is. Yep, there it is. Corona Borealis. Go to hello, active production. It's already tomorrow in Qatar, is it not? Yes, it is. And the good news is TCRB has not gone nova yet. Radar, I was able to get stunning images of Venus last week with Seestar. since the planets are lit by the sun, you have to go with the rule of thumb of 0 gain and 1/60th of a second exposure. With Venus, you may want to make the exposure even shorter. But I will try to reduce the gain as much as possible, and then tinker with the exposure. Somewhere in the 1,000ths or 1/2000 should be good. All right, everyone happy? TCRB is still good. There's a good chance that you will see the cloud bands on Jupiter. I have seen them on a clear night with Seestar. Okay, 83. Yep, thanks, Bill. Will it find it at 7 degrees? Let's see. Go to. Dwarf would have no problem with it. Seestar will insist on plate solving. Yeah, it's not going to find it too low. We're going to try to stack at the general vicinity to see if it'll get it or not. Yeah, active. That's why I'm not a fan of Mosaic. Bill, we're unlikely to pull M83. We'll come back to it when it's a bit higher. I'm going to see. Yeah, Black Eye is a bit higher. M99 is a possibility. What is 2025 F2? It's not even close. Oh yeah, thank you, Bill. Okay. Here it should have no excuse not to find it. Yeah, Iris is a nice target. Okay, I will keep an eye on the counter so we can detect it when it stops sinking. Indeed, Zena, it's a beautiful night. Earlier this morning, while taking the dogs for a walk, we saw 7, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fawns, babies, walking together with a fox about 100 feet behind them. And then the big mama showed up, and the fox turned around and went away, saying, "I'm not messing with the big one." We have seen red foxes and gray foxes around here. Well, by around here, I mean literally in our backyard. Fish, do you have foxes in Dundee? Yeah, we have seen coyotes. I was once in California on a weekend and got up early to go for a long run. And at my farthest point turned to head back to my room, and there were two coyotes standing in the middle of the road staring at me. And there was nobody around on a Sunday morning. The place was deserted, and I had no way to avoid them. So I picked up two very large as I could carry, stones or rocks in my hands, and kept going towards them, and then threw one of the rocks very hard at one of them, and I missed, obviously. But they did not know what it was, so they went chasing it. And that gave me the opening that I need, because the two of them were looking, wondering what just went by and sniffing around. And I lived to tell the story. Not a comforting sight. Yeah, coyotes and foxes are very different. The very first rule of running when it comes to encountering wildlife is you don't have to outrun the bear, you just need to outrun the slowest runner in the group. Which I practiced very thoroughly in Alaska. Anchorage, they informed us at the start of the marathon that there was a mama bear with its cub bear at around mile 9, and the race director said, "And you out-of-towners, do not try to take selfies with the cub or with the bear. Just keep going on your merry way." So I slowed down just before mile 8 and stayed with an elderly couple who were doing the marathon, figuring if I have to outrun them, it'll be easier to outrun them than to outrun the bear. Good news, by the time we got there, Mama Bear and Baby Bear were done with breakfast and had gone back into wherever. So we did not see them. Oh, good. Pico, I'm glad you see it. It is tiny, Pico. Still magnitude 13, I believe. In the Black Hills of South Dakota, they told us before the marathon, if you see sticks on the trail, these are not sticks, these are snakes. Don't pick them up. And jump as high as you can over them and don't step on them. That day I saw 3 sticks. We will have an opportunity to apply AI denoise to the galaxy and see what it looks like. My red light appears to be bleeding into the lower left corner of the image, so I turned it off. Unless this is the red light from the Seestar reflecting against the window. Okay, Comet 2021 G2 Atlas is now above the horizon to the east. How dark is it? Thirteen-ish. Bill, part of the plan is to see if the aux port, the auxiliary port on on the Meade, the ETX 90, if it's going to allow computer control. If it does, then that's going to be the plan, to turn it intelligent by adding to it plate solving and program tracking, so we can have a schedule of events that it goes to. Right now, the 5 projects that I offered to the computer science and electrical engineering students. First one is satellite trail detection and eradication, if you will. That remains my top priority, to be able to detect a satellite trail in an image and delete the trail during stacking, not just discard the image. The second one is going to be, given a target, and we're going to start with the Messier catalog, identify the ideal parameters for imaging it in terms of exposure time, gain, how many frames, and what filters to use, and do that automatically using AI. and then try to expand that to other arbitrary targets. The third one is going to be creating a scheduler that goes from target to target automatically. The fourth project, at the request of the astronomy director in Oswego, he'd like to be able to control any of the meads from an Android phone. So Alpaca, which is an extension to ASCOM, allows Android programming via ASCOM. So that's going to be purely a programming task. And if we're able to use the same device to control the scope and display the images back, that'll be the objective. And the fifth one is a haunting challenge, and that is keeping the 16-inch mead from self-destructing. It can turn 360 degrees in either direction from its park or home position. And when it gets to the 360 degrees, when it gets back to where it started, it hits a very hard stop, but it doesn't stop, it starts banging against it. And this afternoon I demonstrated to the chairman of the electrical engineering department that by sending the mead on a series of go-tos, I can fool it into going the full 360 degrees slowly, and then eventually I'll put a target that is beyond the hard stop and it will just go banging against it. And we're going to try to find a way to prevent that from happening. So all of these projects, they will be using the ETX90 as the first step before running them on the 16-inch mead. Yeah, actually, it's going to be a multitude of meads. I'm trying to get my hands on a 10-inch that the estate of a former or a late astronomer, local astronomer, donated his hardware to the university that included a fully equipped 10-inch mead. I'm trying to get my hands on it to see in what condition it is, and see if we can add it to the project. The ETX90 has one big advantage over the 16-inch mead, and that is it's portable. Bill, is that the plane? The line looks dotted. It is on the Skycam. Yeah, looks like a plane. It's going from northwest to east. It appears to be high altitude, and it's now almost due east from my vantage point. All right. Yeah, that would make sense. Thanks, Bill. Vega is very visible right now to the northeast on the Skycam. In theory, this should be the radiant right here. Fish, let me see if we can look at it. Hello, John. We just checked on TCRB and it is still there. I was surprised that it hasn't gone nova yet. John, if you're looking for P2010 H2, it is right now very, very close to NGC 5118. We're going to give the black eye galaxy half hour and then we'll AI the noise and then go back to Bill's M83. It should be high enough by now. Where is 2025 F2? Oh, it's Swan. Okay, yeah, we took a detailed look at Swan earlier in the morning. I have a plane outside my window, Bill. There it goes. This one was fairly low altitude. It's either final approach to Syracuse, it has to be, coming from the south. Yeah, possibly either a Delta coming from Atlanta or United coming from Dallas. We saw one comet tonight, Harvey. We're going to go look at another one momentarily. And we don't know if we have seen meteors or whether these were just starlings. Fish, we spot the planes with the sky camera or by looking out the window. Thanks, Bill. I have flown that flight many times. John, I did not see any meteors this morning. Clouds haunted us, and the only break in the clouds around 3 a.m. Didn't see any. There it is, Bill. Yeah, Monkey Head would have been visible to dwarf on the north perch, but I cannot see it with the Seestar on the east perch. M83 is 11 degrees, 12 degrees high. We'll see if we can catch it. So this is with the AI denoise. Yeah, this is this time of evening. Okay, we have M83 for you, Bill. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is the Pompey Observatory, only channel on YouTube that streams live 4K resolution, multiple telescopes. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Seestar is just outside the window. It is literally 3 feet from the microphone, and yes, it is talking. We had a close call yesterday. I was imaging the sun, and then inadvertently tried closing the arm on Seestar without removing the filter, the solar filter. And the gears got jammed and it got stuck, and I did manage eventually to loosen it manually, and it's working again. But I thought for a moment that I was going to call my Seestar or name it Jacob. Bill, that is correct. I do that. It is hard, but because it's friction driven, yes, you can rotate it. Harvey, yes and yes. You wanna hear something funny? I ordered replacement heads for my electric toothbrush. I ordered them from Walmart, 5 heads, 5 brushes, $6.40, and they said it's 2-day delivery. What they did not tell me was the fact that they were shipping from China. They arrived to Missouri. They're sitting at the FedEx facility awaiting customs clearance and tariff computation on my toothbrushes. They've been sitting there for 2 weeks. Good night, Zena. I shall be going to bed in about half an hour after we're done with the M83. Bill, you're going to like the DWARF 3 when it comes to taking Milky Way images. They come out nice. It's not Milky Way season yet, but shortly. That's part of my tasker to the students, not only identifying for a given target exposure gain and filters, but also identifying the best, most suited telescope given the size, the nebulosity, and the magnitude. Now, mentally, Bill, Andromeda is more suited for Dwarf 3, or Dwarf 3 is more suited for Andromeda than a Seestar. And then you have all the big nebulas or nebulae from the North America to the California, the heart, the soul, and the list of big nebula goes on and on that Seestar cannot fit in its field of view, but Dwarf 3 in the telephoto, not the wide, will fit them very nicely. Pico, unless they plan to do mosaic, you're not going to fit much of the Milky Way in an S50. On the Dwarf 3, I go wide angle for the Milky Way. And then you have the Vale nebula, East Vale and West Vale. These are going to come out very, very nice again with the Dwarf. Don't know what the S30 Canon cannot do yet. Peacock, I don't have one. I am hard pressed to spend money to go smaller aperture. I'm willing to spend money to go up to the S70. Not willing to spend money to go down to an S30. Looks like we have light seeping from the monitors inside the room to the telescope outside the window. So I closed the shade and see if that makes any difference. Yeah, John, your comment, if you have a dwarf, you don't need an S30. That is basically the conclusion that I reached. Moon, not until the wee hours of the morning. Tomorrow morning there's going to be a nice dance with Saturn, Neptune, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. Moon rises at 4:06. So for the next 3 mornings, moon is going to be getting closer and closer. On the 25th, it will be smack in the middle. There will be, it's going to be occultation of Neptune. Let me see. Depending where you live, Neptune may go behind the moon. But other than that, looking at Venus, Saturn, and Mercury in a triangle, moon will be in the middle of that triangle. Who's having dark skies for a week? Astrospheric is giving us dark skies all the way through Thursday morning. I used to do all my long runs on the weekend, Saturday morning. I'll take you back to the Boston Marathon in 2014. Meb Keflezighi won it. He was 40 years old. That's very old for a marathon runner. And people asked him, what is the secret? How has his training changed and how could he be racing so well at age 40? And he said his secret was stretching the week from 7 days to 9 days to allow for more recovery. A distance runner usually runs 1 long run per week, 1 speed workout, 1 hill workout, and 2 or 3 easy runs. And the easy and the distance of the shorter runs is all relative based on how elite or amateur or casual the runner is. So Meb said by making his week 9 days as opposed to 7, that allowed him time for recovery. So since I am older than Meb by a bit, my week has become 9 days as well. So 2 weeks ago, I ran my long run on a Saturday. Last week, it was a Monday. And now I'll be doing my long run tomorrow on a Wednesday. And the following week, I'll do it on a Saturday and continue with that cycle. Pico, if you go with the Seestar, then you will need only 1 app to run both S50 and S30. and you'll only deal with one set of bugs as opposed to two. .351 Bill, I ran the Marine Corps Marathon in 3:51. And my Pee-wee personal worst was at the Madison in northern Montana in Yellowstone National Park. We rode on back trails for about 2 hours at 3 in the morning so we can get started at 5 in the morning. We were running at 10,000 feet on trails, and that took 7 hours and 1 minute to finish. Pico, I don't know what you call 20% VAT. Oh, marathon PR was 3:51. And if you are unmuted, I will repeat my story about my PW, my personal worst. It was at 10,000 feet high altitude in the northern part of Yellowstone National Park. That one ended up being 7:01. And I passed out only once from lack of oxygen. Yeah, Grandma's is one marathon I have not done. For Minnesota, I did Rochester, Med City. Yeah, from 2010 through 2014, I averaged between 10 and 14 marathons per year to do the 50 states. And did a lot of flying on Delta and United. Baron Cubs was Alaska, Anchorage. That one it rained all day. Was not a fun one. Not that they ever are, but it was a fun way to see the country on foot. Looks like by closing the shades, I have cut down significantly the light pollution on the bottom left of M83. Alan, I have been mixing walking a lot with running lately. Past 4 years have been rough for me. Ended up having surgery every one of the past 4 years. Still in recovery mode from the last one, but stubbornly trying to get back into some kind of endurance. Have not done the Twin Cities. Yeah, Minnesota I've only done one, and that was Med City in Rochester. I admire you guys for your fell running, as you call it. When a Brit sees an American running cross-country on a golf course where fell running basically says, you see that top of that mountain, get there around that flag and come back. There is no trail, there is no path, there is no marked course. There's just one point at a distance, and you go there and you come back. Bill, the decision on what marathons to run boiled down to scheduling more than anything else. I sat with my wife at the kitchen table with a calendar and a list of marathons and started by filling in those states with the fewest. Back then, 10, 15 years ago, states like Connecticut and South Dakota and Wyoming and so on had only one marathon in the entire state. So these had to be scheduled first. And then as I filled in the blanks, by the time I got to Minnesota with quite a few marathons there, Rochester is the only one that fit, so I went with that. Yeah, way too many marathons in October. October is the most crowded month for marathons in the country. Yeah, we lost all the light pollution. That's good. That's either a satellite or a meteor right in front of Vega on the Skycam. I'll keep you posted, Bill. Thank you. Isobig Steamtown was my Pennsylvania marathon. It was on 10-10-10. It was the start of my 50-state adventure. It was October 10, 2010. And I remember by the time we got to mile 2, church bells started ringing for us because we were running past a church, and it was a beautiful sound. It starts downhill and then it goes downhill from there. Yeah, Steamtown was memorable because it's one of the few marathons where I cried at the end from the pain. That was a rough one. Isobig, a nice thing about the Scranton Marathon is there was a young priest who would say the prayer and the blessing at the beginning of the race, wish us all good luck, and then jump in and then win the marathon. The guy used to run it in not much over 2 hours. Yeah, it was the tough on the muscles, Bill, that quads were burning by the end and to the point of hurting. This is interesting trivia. Apparently, I asked Gemini who was the priest who won the Steamtown Marathon in Scranton. It said it was Father Leonard. He later left the priesthood to start a funeral home in Pittston. He was dispatching them one way or the other. One of my memorable marathons was the Crazy Horse in South Dakota. It started at the Crazy Horse Monument, went out and then back, and I found myself from around mile 15 till about mile 24 running with one of the Lakota elders. And he shared with me the story of Crazy Horse and the history of the Lakota Nation. Bill, if you remember Billy Mills, the Lakota runner who won the gold in the Tokyo Olympics 1964 in the 10,000 meters, he became very active in bringing running to the... He was in the army, I believe, at the time when he ran it, to bring running as a way to motivate the youth in the nation. But yeah, running with that Lakota elder was a unique experience. Still remember it. Fish Scranton is a city in northeast Pennsylvania. Is that what you're asking? Bill, I also ran the Bay 2 Breakers in San Francisco, and I was one of the few runners with clothes on. I did not realize that the dress code was fairly loose. This M83 was a good choice, Bill. It's coming out very nicely. Early enough in my marathon journey, I joined the 50 States Marathon Club and then the Marathon Maniacs Running Club. And I still remember the first time I heard two guys talking about asking how many marathons are you running. I thought they were talking about per year. When one of them said 2, the other said 3, they were talking about that weekend. And yeah, in no time, I would find myself knowing 5 or 6 or 10 people at a marathon just because they belong to the same club, all trying to get 50 states done, and all running every marathon in sight. Yeah, right now it is a rare marathon in which I do not find people that I know. I'm looking forward to what AI denoise is going to do to this target. This is nice. This is very nice. Bill, does it look three-dimensional on your 77-inch screen? How many marathons have you run, Bill? Yeah, they have done a very good job with that AI denoise. That's for more than 95% of the people in this country. Good for you, Bill. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the night for me. I'm going to try to get a few hours before I get on the road. In all likelihood, we'll be back during the day to catch some sun, and then in the evening tomorrow to do another night. So if you have targets in mind, please get them ready. .352 to 401, that's very good regularity there, Bill. Yeah, mine are all over the place time-wise. Trying not to forget the music.